Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The effects of the Birmingham bin strike have been declared a major incident. There are national embarrassment, and with 21-degree temperatures forecast for later this week, will become a public health emergency. With Labour MPs in Birmingham busy campaigning for an airport in Pakistan, and the Secretary of State unwilling to visit the city or take on the Union Unite, is that because of the tens of millions of pounds her party receives from Unite, or indeed the £10,000 she's received for her own election campaign?
Well, Mr. Speaker, I thought the Shadow Secretary was beneath that and better than that, but hey-ho. Look, this is a local dispute, and it's right that the negotiations are led locally, Mr. Speaker. We've been clear that both parties should get round the table, and I'm pleased that this happened on Sunday and talks continue today. But they did declare a major incident last week, Mr. Speaker. We expect the rubbish to be cleared, we expect them to get round the negotiating table, and we expect it to be sorted.
Thank you,
Mr. Speaker. She still doesn't explain why she's not visited the city to look at this firsthand. But in her manifesto, on another topic, in her manifesto, she sets out the issue of preserve the green belt. In this very House, she said she would transform grey belt land such as wasteland or old car parks, but also she would protect green belt. The Office of Budget Responsibility, in their report accompanying the spring statement last week, states that most additional homes delivered, so up to 500,000, according to her world, will be built on green belt. Is it not the case that she has conned the public with her grey belt policy and that she has unintentionally misled this House?
How is it called?
Oh, Mr. Speaker, I thought he was going to do better, but he didn't. The Minister was in Birmingham on Thursday, and I'm always happy to visit Birmingham. It's a great city, and it's always been a fantastic place, and I've probably been there more times than the honourable member has, actually. And when we come to Greenbelt, Mr. Speaker, it was under the Tories the number of homes approved on Greenbelt land increased nearly tenfold since 2009, so I won't take lectures. But what we have done, Mr. Speaker, is we've said brownfield first. We're taking the action to make sure we deliver those homes that people need, including the infrastructure. He could learn a lot from me.
Joe Morris.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At the end of January, there were 14,000 people still on Northumberland County Council social housing waiting list. Yet there are hundreds of properties right across the county, including in rural Allendale, that remain empty. With people on the housing list in desperate need of accommodation, it's a disgrace that the Conservative administration has left them empty for so long. Does the Minister agree with me that a Labour council backed by a Labour government will do much more to get people off the housing list and into homes?
I thank my honourable friend for that question. Local authorities already have a range of powers to bring empty homes back into use, but I'm more than happy to meet with him to discuss the specific issue in more detail.
Liberal Democrat spokesperson Vicky Slade.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Last month I was in a field by East Bar Estate in Hull. With the River Humber in the distance, the field lay submerged underwater and sat clearly below sea level. Residents told me the field acted as a barrier between the homes and water and were really worried that the planned development, which is in the whole local plan, would leave neighbours with damp homes and their homes flooded. Can the Minister reassure me and residents in Hull and other low-lying communities that the Government will ensure the land use framework will determine areas for development, considering flood risk management and the delivery of sustainable drainage systems?
Well, Mr. Speaker, we took action on SUDS in the MPPF. We made very welcome improvements in that area. DEFRA have launched a consultation on a land use framework. I take it the Honourable Lady has submitted her views and will publish the response to that consultation in due course.
Peter Swallow.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I alluded earlier to Bracknell being 76 years old, and one of the challenges we face, especially in our older estates, is insufficient parking. Will the Minister meet with me to discuss how government, the council and social housing providers can work together to address this issue?
I'm grateful for that question. We are determined to drive up standards across the private parking sector, and colleagues in the DfT across the other elements of the parking sector will announce our plans regarding the private parking code of practice in due course, and of course be very happy to meet with them to discuss further.
Wendy Moore.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. With rats as big as cats and over 17,000 tonnes of rubbish piled up in the streets of Birmingham and stories of rubbish being set alight in some streets, this is a Birmingham Labour-run problem that needs to be sorted out by the council there and this government. But can the Minister reassure me that neighbouring authorities such as Walsall Borough Council will be reimbursed for any additional costs that we incur as a result of this strike?
But all of us understand how difficult things are in Birmingham, but it's the government's job to support Birmingham to recover and get that service back to normal. Now, there are three strands: regularising the negotiations with the trade union to find a long-term solution, dealing with the routine collections and getting more trucks out the depot, and thirdly, dealing with the clean-up of waste that's been accumulated on the street, and we are supporting the council in doing that. On the question, I'm assuming on mutual aid, any mutual aid that is provided by local authorities will be reimbursed.
Rachel Hopkins.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. With the recent announcement that Goodman have bought Luton's Vauxhall van plant site for redevelopment, does the Minister agree with me that it's local government that has a key role to play in local business and regeneration plans to help drive economic growth?
Yes, so economic growth is the #1 mission of this government, and as I've said, I think multiple times at this dispatch box, that's an inside job, and it takes that great local leadership. That's why we've made the commitment in creating new devolved institutions and backing our existing ones, and in the devolution of power and resources from this place to those communities.
Richard Holden.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr Speaker. Devolution is also going alongside with revolution in local government in Essex, where we're expected to see numerous unitary authorities created. However, local people are concerned that they won't get a say in the structure of those local authorities. So can the Minister tell me if they will get a say? There's also concern about local elections being delayed by multiple years. So can the Minister also let me know whether or not we are going to see year after year of Basildon Council not being accountable for the decisions it's currently taking?
But, I mean, first of all, I pay tribute to local leaders in Essex and in other places for the leadership that they have shown to make sure that there is sustainable and accountable local government at the end of the devolution and reorganisation process. So he has our absolute commitment that we will work with local leaders through those issues. As for the election question, elections have been postponed for a year. It's our intention that routine elections will take place as planned.
That's been correct.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Many of my constituents in Bolton South and Walkden are living in temporary accommodations. They can't get a social house or able to buy any houses either. They have to go into the private rental sector where the rents are sky high. What action is the government taking to stop landlords exploiting this crisis and give my constituents way out of temporary homes?
This government is tackling the root causes of homelessness by delivering the biggest increase in social and affordable house building in a generation, and that's being backed by £2 billion of investment for social affordable housing. Our Renters' Rights Bill will abolish Section 21 no-fault evictions as well.
Lewis Cocky.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My constituents in Broxbourne rightly expect new schools and health facilities, in particular GP surgeries, in place before new housing development. What action is the Minister taking to force developers to deliver infrastructure first?
I thank the honourable gentleman for that question. The government does recognise the importance of ensuring that new housing development is supported by appropriate infrastructure. The revised National Planning Policy Framework we published last year included changes designed to improve the provision and modernisation of various types of public infrastructure. And as the honourable gentleman is well aware, we're also committed to strengthening the existing system of developer contributions to ensure new developments provide the necessary infrastructure that communities like his expect.
Tom Hayes.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I've been campaigning for fair renting in Bournemouth and recently held my first Renters' Roundtable at the Bournemouth Food Banks Cafe, attended by my constituent, Alison Thomas, among others. Alison can't cook in her home because water is leaking through her kitchen ceiling and she's scared to turn on any electrical devices. My constituency, our Mubarak family of 6, rent an overcrowded home with black mould so harmful that the head teacher of the 4 children living there have had to write to my office to express concern. Does my honourable friend agree with me that we need urgent action to improve the state of the private rented sector in Bournemouth East?
Well, I thank my honourable friend for his question, for all that he's doing to support private renters in his constituency. And, Mr Speaker, I'm saddened, but I have to say, in all honesty, not shocked by the cases he raises. those experiences are still far too common in both the social and private rented sectors, and we know in particular the health risk posed by damp and mould. That's one of the reasons we've chosen to sequence the implementation of our ABS law in the way we have, as it will allow us to apply the protections to damp and mould earlier than would otherwise have been the case.